June 21, we received the electric bill yesterday, and the energy use is 518 kilowatt hour, and this translates to less than 8,000. So at home we have a couple of air fan, maybe 3. We have the fridge, single aircon, water heater, the submersible for the water tank. Most of the energy use is toward the aircon at night. When we go to sleep around 7 o'clock, we turn it on, and we turn it off around 3 or 4. And that takes a lot of energy. I mean, you're looking at, say, 1 horsepower, that's about 1,000 watt. So you can guess, day in and day out, 7 days a week. And then the submersible, we use a lot of water, and that turns on. Although it turns on for like 15 seconds, it does use water. That's let's see, that's 2 horsepower. So that's about 1.5 kilowatt. And then the water heater, it does use energy. So, and lights and fan. So in total, we use 518 kilowatt hour in 30 days. So what does that mean if we take this number apart? So I've created a table to take the number 518 kilowatt hour in 30 days. So what is the kilowatt hour use per day? So it would be 508. So it would be taking this number 518 divided by 30 days. So the consumed kilowatt hour per day would be 17 kilowatt, basically 17.3 kilowatt hour per day. So what is that in hours? So we take the average number per day, since there's 24 hours in a day, divided by 24. So it appears that we are using 0.71 kilowatt hour. Now that doesn't make sense. Let's see. So this is 30 days. So I'm using that to get kilowatt hour usage per day. So I have to, let's see if it's correct. So 17 kilowatt hour per day times 30 days. So that's correct. So per hour we're actually using 719 watts. So if you're using 719 watts in 24 hours, then it would be 17 kilowatt hour use per day. So that's how it translates to. Now the aircon is basically 1 horsepower. So 1 horsepower is 742 watts. So it's basically embedded within this energy use per hour per day. and it's only during the night that we use the aircon. So if you can supply this without tripping the inverter, then this is the amount of energy use per hour per day, and then accumulated over 30 days to become 518 kilowatt hour. So this is what it means taken apart. So the number here is 719 watts per hour, or 719 watt hour is can be confusing, because certainly you can actually provide a system that would do this. So if we look at the inverter we have now, so let me just translate this to 719 watts, and that's should rename it in an hour. Okay, so power in watts. So to power up the house in average, or on average, this house would require 719 watts. Now frankly, this 719 watts is low, because like I said, the aircon draws 1 horsepower, which is 742 watts. Now because the aircon is not on 24/7, that's why this thing is averaged out. You don't see peaks, we can't see the peaks. And so in 24 hours it averaged to 719 watts. So one has to understand the power budget for all devices, their duty cycle, and then have what you call factor in those duty cycle. So but if we take the 719 watts and translate to what we have, or translate that to, can we use the new solar system that we're about to in place, would that work? So let's find out. So now let's take a look at VA versus time. So suppose, let's take a look at the 150 amp hour. Okay, so based from energy use at home, 719 would be between this 600 and it's between 600 and 900. So we can interpolate it. But let's say conservatively it's 600 watts. Or let's say conservatively 900 watts, because there's a derating factor. We have to multiply by, let's see, to get VA. So let's do some math. So 3,000 divided by 24 times 7, what was it, 719, then it's 998 VA, which is this one. So So basically, with a fully charged battery, drawing on average 900 VA, then it would be able to support it for 214 minutes. So what is 214 minutes? So divided by 60, so it's basically 4 hours. So what if we want to run it 7 days a week, 24/7 basically? Then we would have to increase capacity. And what would be the increased capacity? I mean, it's a ratio now, right? So, and then it would be, it's sort of interpolation. Suppose we increase the amp hour of the battery. What is the capacity needed to run 24/7 with 719 watts? Doing some number crunching, take 24 hours divided by 4 hours. Then it's a factor of 6. We would need 6 times 150 amp hour. So we would need 900 amp hour battery capacity. So what does that mean? 900, if we have, so 2 batteries would be 150. So take that number, 900 divided by 150. Oops. $900 divided by 150. We actually need 12 because it's a set of 2 times 2. Okay, so we need 12 battery to meet this on average 719 watts, which is 900 VA. So that's a lot of batteries. If each battery is 8,500, so each battery is 8,500 times 12, then you're looking at 102,000 peso, the cost of battery alone. That's the reason why you have to balance want versus need. Now you might want to balance it with solar panel. Let's say, well, I can take most of the load because the load is the aircon. So most of the load would be during the night. So power the house with solar energy during the day, and then supplement it with electric bill if the solar panel is unable to support the 719 watts during the day. Now, quite frankly, because we don't know the peaks and valleys of these power in watts during the day, then one has to see what the power budget is for each device inside the house and then sum them up and come up with a budget plan, and enforce that and say, well, during the day we use solar energy and a little bit of electric bill, and during the night we have battery capacity and use that for the aircon only. And so you have to, one must rewire the house to adjust for this new normal, because you can't use existing household wiring, because it would existing household wiring basically power up the entire house. So one might want to rewire the house to power the high heating high heating equipment, and go from there. It gets a little bit more complicated as you want to be electric bill independent and become solar energy dependent. So there's a cost associated to more solar, more battery, and a different inverter to meet 719 watts on average, and then mitigate or plan out the high consuming devices, separate them from the overall household. So yeah, it can be complicated separating this into its various components. I hope I didn't make this complicated, but I wanted to understand really what I needed. For example, if I were to power up this house 24/7 using solar and battery, and I can say that one has to actually increase the solar panel, because charging 12 batteries at 50 amp, it will take a few days. So one might have to increase charging rate so that the battery can be charged, say, in 4 hours from total discharge. So, but I think once the whole thing is in place, this can be then really enforceable. Then you look at your return on investment and say, well, if I budgeted for 300,000, and let's say, for example, 300,000. Okay, that's the budget for a solar panel. And then your electric bill is 10,000. Okay, and of course 12 months. Okay, in 1 year, in 12 months, 1 year, your electric bill is 12 times 12 times 10,000. Okay, so it's 120,000 per year. And if you have a solar energy in place, then how many years before you recoup your costs? So it would be 300,000 divided by 100,000 per year. So you would be recouping your costs in 2.5 years, and after 2.5 years, basically your energy dependency to the electric bill is no longer present. Also, you might want to have what you call microgrid. That is, any excess power is sent back to electric company, and then they would credit you for excess energy. So I hope that this kind of shows the number crunching involved into having off-grid, I guess, off-grid energy, so you don't have to pay electric bill. So 719 watts, and then multiply that by per hour, so it's 719 watt hour. Multiply that 30 days, then it would be I'm sorry, multiply that by 24, then you would have 17 kilowatt hour, and multiply that by 30 days, then you would have energy use 518 kilowatt hour. So that goes back to power in watts. On average, it doesn't show the peaks, so you have to factor in the peaks, but on average per day 719 watts. So if you can support 719 watts, or good, you're energy independent, and you multiply by 24 hours, it becomes 17 kilowatt. Multiply by 30 days, you have 519 kilowatt hour use, and that's what you pay toward the electric bill. Thanks for watching.